Also coming up tonight, after decades of rock and roll and more than a little bit of makeup, Kiss is still going strong. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, I have a little challenge for them. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but we're going to get into something a little bit later on. Now, maybe they'll even do the tongue thing for Alan. But first... All right, they travel the world wearing makeup and playing rock and roll to countless fans. They've sold more than 80 million records in 3 decades of playing music. Now they're here to discuss their new book, Kiss, The Early Years, which features over 200 never-before-seen photographs by Wearing at Abbott, and new documentary by the founding members of the band. We're joined by Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Hi.
Nice to see you.
It's great to be here.
You're actually much better looking with your makeup.
All right, good luck. I admire one thing. You don't use drugs. You never have.
Yeah, look, you know, people always pick up on that, and it's the wrong thing to pick up on because it's a personal life choice, you know.
Right.
If, you know, if people want to take that as an example of their life, that's fine, but it's just a personal choice.
Well, it's an idiotic thing to do. What do you admit?
Well,
To get high, you mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no question about
Well, you
that.
lead by example.
Yeah.
You know, to go out and preach anything, we're the proof
Right.
of what not taking drugs and a good work ethic can do.
You couldn't survive 3 decades on the road and be doing drugs the way some bands do them.
Well, that's not what, you know, look, perhaps it's possible, perhaps it's not, but again, it's a personal life choice. I think to say that you can't survive, there are bands, look, it's no secret the Stones have done very well and have, you know, succumbed to the
but look at
Twilight
Keith
Zone.
Richards. You want us to say kids don't do drugs, you look like him.
Are you trying to tell us we're good looking?
You're better than them. The makeup is starting to... But here's the problem that I have with you in particular.
Yeah, please do.
You've been in the media, you brag about the fact you've slept with, what, 4,600 women?
I didn't sleep with all of them. They didn't
Had sex with all of them?
Most of them, yes.
4,600 women.
Right.
All right, you brag about that. And here's what I see, and you tell me where I'm way out of line.
Please.
46, you go into towns and cities all across the country and around the world.
Right.
People pay good money to come see your concert. You know that these young kids, and 18, 21, they worship you. They look up to you. You're a big band member. You're a big star. You sold 80 million albums, and they throw themselves at you.
Right.
You take them into your bedroom. You have sex with them.
With who?
With these women. Now, granted, they choose, but are you not abusing your star status, taking advantage of them, and then you leave town and you say goodbye?
You know, I've heard it all. I've been accused of being a devil worshiper, a cannibal, and everything, but abusing the public persona that I have, which is to say that I get up on stage, do the show, and then prefer to do the encores back in the hotel. Anything between 2 consenting adults, as you well know, because you asked me about a female that we both know and with a capital K. Was that a biblical thing? Remember before I came on?
A friend. No, I'm a happily married
Paul,
man.
is that,
I'm not familiar with
I
that
didn't
term.
date 30 women in my life. Never mind
people presume
4,600.
that's part of the lifestyle.
I think the whole lifestyle, or what is purported to be the rock and roll lifestyle, at times becomes a pathetic parody of what people expect us to do.
But you guys, you're not into drugs. You're not doing that trip.
No, but you know, the fact remains that we have an obligation to ourselves as human beings to realize that this is not a rehearsal. We get one chance, and we should celebrate our lives. We shouldn't hurt ourselves.
Right.
We certainly shouldn't choose to hurt others. But first and foremost, we have an obligation, you know, to enjoy ourselves.
That begs the question: are you role models because of the fact that
we don't want to be role models, but certainly we're better role models than many others. You know, again, it comes back to we are products of immigrants, people who came to this country under the worst of conditions, and we grew up and had instilled in us a great work ethic.
which you've shown for 30 years. Gene, I just found out about you that your mother was a Holocaust survivor.
People use the word Holocaust in the masses because they can't even spell the word friend correctly, don't understand that the proper phrase shouldn't be the Holocaust, but it should be the German Nazi concentration camps of World War II. That's the correct phrase. German and Nazi go together, and that's what it was. It was something that has to be
And your mother is still with us.
She's still with us and still has a terrific and abiding positive faith in humanity as we know it. She still wakes up every day and thinks that mankind, by and large, is good. And through her eyes, I've gained wisdom that I've never read in books.
Right. You're becoming more politically conservative?
I believe that in time of war, it's better to be on your side, and in time of peace, it's better to be on his side, because pacifism is relative. When they come knocking on your door and somebody holds a gun to your head, it's time to take him out and his whole family.
I'm going to bring you over to my side. We're going to take you all the way by the end of the show.
Listen, by the way, this is not. These are not peaceful times, and it's time to stand up.
You bet.
I think we grow up believing in idealism, and as we get older, there's a need for real.
Talk to him during the break.
We'll talk when we get back about it.
We got to take a break. We'll come back. Remember, log on to foxnews.com. You can become a Fox fan. By the way, you can order some of these great mugs, coffee mugs.
Merchandising, right?
And we'll put their book on there, too.
And you can order some of this, too. And kissonline.com, too.
Is it Kiss Online?
Back with Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley of KISS. You have room for Hannity in your group? Do you think you can take on one?
I think both you guys.
Really?
There's room for both you guys.
With the makeup and everything. You said something very interesting about you're with liberals when in terms of times of peace, conservatives in times of war.
Relatively speaking, because outside the United States of America, there's no difference between liberals and, conservatives.
Well, they're defined differently.
Relatively. But within America, we see a great difference. Over in Germany or in Russia or someplace else, they look at two guys talking. They're going, what are you talking about? You guys both agree on certain issues.
Right.
You both agree that there shouldn't be racism and segregation and so on. Of course.
Right. I know you're very good with the merchant holding up the book. You're really good at that.
And that's why Kiss the Early Years is so interesting, because it's basically a family album of a band that's about to break big. And it's our baby pictures. And the difference between our baby pictures and others is that these babies wore a white face and 8-inch heels. But there's a certain naivete to the band when we started out. You see how I've
our pictures from our first show.
I've gone from world politics.
You guys look the same, though.
Yeah, you guys look the same.
But this is a book about us, but it's also a book about the American dream, which is alive and well because we're living proof of it. There was an old song by Jay and the Americans, ironically enough.
Only in America.
Only in America can a guy from nowhere can grow up to be president and so on.
I thought you guys retired. I thought you went on this farewell tour.
We reserve the right to change our minds. We went on this farewell tour with the best of intentions, believing that we were done. But once we got home for a while, it is in our blood, and there are more mountains to climb, and we have to do this
before we go off the air,
as long as we enjoy ourselves.
In February, we're going to be in Melbourne, because you're about to go, doing the KISS Symphony with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra.
60-piece orchestra.
That'll be interesting.
All in KISS makeup, and you guys are invited to come. It'll be to 50,000
That
fans.
alone,
Like a private jet?
Yeah, that alone was enough reason to get out of retirement.
All right, why did you say to me when I raised the question about you admitting to sleeping with 4,600 that you've never been asked that before? That are you abusing the privilege of being a band member that people look up to?
Anything between consenting adults, 2 or more, is wonderful.
But after that night, you're done with those girls.
Well, that's true, but
are you using them?
Absolutely not. But I also don't promise them things that you do, which is you're the only...
I don't promise them anything, because I'm not with anybody.
Yes.
I'm a happily married man.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that term. Married?
Happily married, yes.
No, that term.
Yeah. But are you using these women?
Absolutely not. The most important thing for all grown-ups to do, men, women, heterosexual, homosexual, I don't care, is full disclosure before the fact. Show the person the spots on the tiger. Say, I'm here because I'm sexually attracted to you. This is not love. This is not anything.
We got to
have to have honesty.
Now you're back in
they want one
Alan's
look at the tongue before we go.
What?
All right, yours?
Yeah. No, yours.
Oh, I can't. The floor is a little dirty. It's too hideous to look at.
I say. All right. Well, we had a request from the consumer. We're
Good luck with the book.
That's it. We thank you very much for being with us tonight. That's all the time we have left. Well, let's check in with Greta Van Susteren.